Welcome to Recorder for Everyone. I'm Pat, your basic recorder teacher. This is lesson 2 in our series of basic recorder lessons. And today I promised you that we would talk about what are some recorders that I recommend for beginners. First of all, let me say if you already have a recorder, whether it's wooden or plastic, please use it. There's no reason at this basic level for you to run out and purchase a new recorder unless you discover that it really isn't playing well, and I think as you go through these lessons you'll begin to tell if that's the case. Sometimes those dollar ones fit that category. But we're just going to get started right away, and the first thing you need to understand is that in the recorder world there are Baroque and there are German recorders. The Baroque recorder is the standard for the industry. It's used everywhere. I've had all my students, whether they're young or old, use the Baroque recorder. So that's the standard. So all the recorders that I'm going to recommend are Baroque recorders. However, there is a place for the German recorder. I do use it, and I'm going to tell you when I use it and why I use it. But otherwise, let's get started. There are hundreds of brands of recorders out there, and I can't please everyone. I can only tell you the reason I've settled on the recorders that I've settled on and why. I have pretty much settled on the Aulos and Yamaha brands for several reasons. First of all, they have a decent sound for the price, they have decent intonation for the price, and I can play advanced music on them. That's not the case with every plastic recorder out there. If you have a good plastic recorder, it will often play better than a poor wooden recorder. I've played on some wooden recorders where I have to ask myself what factory they came out of because they played so poorly. I think sometimes we think just because it's wooden it plays better, but that's not the case. Don't get me wrong. There are beautiful, beautiful wooden recorders out there. Now, I pretty much played on these plastic recorders for years until I told myself I deserved those rosewood Mollenauers that were out there, and then I bought them. But these are the 3 models that I recommend. You can see they range in price from $5 to $6. This is the model number. I have this Aulos 503B here with me today. I'm going to play a simple 3-note song for you. And that's how the basic 503B sounds. Listen to this. Can't go wrong. If you just want to find out if you like the recorder, just spend that $5 or $6, get started, take these basic recorder lessons with us here online, and then you'll know if this recorder is an instrument for you. I hope you like it as much as I do. Now, maybe you're someone who right off the bat, maybe you have a musical background and you'd like something a little better than the basic model. So I've listed these 3 brands and model numbers, again, all Baroque. And I have these 2 Yamahas with me because I played the Aulos in the first set. Now I'm going to play the Yamaha. They range in price from $20 to $25 depending on where you see them online. This is the 312B. It looks like wood, but it's plastic. I'm going to play the same thing on this recorder. But from where I'm standing, this one has a little more open and clearer sound than the basic model. But again, both are okay for our purposes. Now I've come across this Yamaha 402B in recent years. It's supposedly made out of something that's environmentally sound, a bamboo type of composite. I'm not sure how they make it, but there's things I like about this recorder also. about this recorder. They all have a few pluses and minuses. But when I want to play the upper G or the upper A or even the upper B, they pop right out on this recorder. And for a plastic recorder, that's pretty darn good that you can do that. I'm going to be using this recorder for most of the lessons just because you can see the holes much easier. And for teaching purposes, I want you to be able to see those holes. Now you're probably asking yourself, well, how do I know if I have a Baroque recorder or a German recorder at home? Well, the most obvious way is to look on your case. If you look right on your case, look at this, YRS, this is the 402B standing for Baroque, there's a B there. This case even says Baroque. They don't always say Baroque, but the B is there. That's how you know it's Baroque. A German recorder will say German. That's how you know it's a German recorder. Well, let's say that you don't have a case at home, and so you're trying to figure out, well, do I have a German or a Baroque recorder? Well, I'm going to show you how to tell the difference. So, look at these two recorders. This one is Baroque, this one is German. We look at the two holes here. Now, on the Baroque recorder, that hole is larger, and the next hole is smaller. On the German recorder, the first hole here above the two holes is smaller, and the next hole is larger. So larger to small, Baroque. Smaller to large, German. What that does is it makes certain notes fingered differently on the Baroque and the German recorder. I'm going to tell you now when I use the German recorder. I have some senior citizen classes where they are 80, 90, and yes, I've had a 100-year-old woman in my class. On the Baroque recorder, the F is fingered with 3 fingers like this. And for people that are that old and have arthritic hands, that can be a little difficult. And on the German recorder, the F is very simple, 1 finger. So I just want them to be able to go up the scale. Now the downside for this is on the German recorder, this is F sharp, and on the Baroque, this is F sharp. Now I know I'm going to get a lot of people with a hissy fit for what I'm going to say next, but with those senior citizen classes, I don't worry whether they can get that little finger down for the F sharp. We just sacrifice a little intonation to make it easy. Because these senior citizens are only trying to play simple folk songs. I have discovered this Aulos 102. It's $2.50. It is great for seniors. It has this thumb rest for them so they can hold the recorder because sometimes they have difficulty holding it. And for $2.50, not a half bad sound. So that's when I use the German recorder. I hope this has been helpful to you. I have a lesson 2A out there where we're just going to talk about a quick lesson on how to take care of your plastic recorder and some helpful hints when water gets stuck inside the mouthpiece. I'm hoping some of you have already gone on to lesson 3 where we're learning our first 3 notes of B, A, and G, or Mi, Re, and Do. So thank you for joining me. Hit subscribe so you don't miss one of the lessons, and I'll see you for the next lesson.